Oh, hi. Welcome back to WhitsGetaway. My name is Tracy. If we haven't met, welcome in. I am today going to take you into my personal life a little bit and explain to you why the Class B van was the right choice for me and my husband. Before we jump into that, just a little update on that wish list that we talked about previously. Good morning, folks. You probably can't really see me because I am taking a trip down the road. I am headed for Site 7, and you may hear in the background that it is absolutely pouring. We are getting a severe thunderstorm as I speak. You might have seen that little bright light there. Going to be an interesting drive down to Chattanooga this morning. But I thought that I would take a moment to share a little frustration from this morning. I remembered that I forgot to grab my power cord from the garage, so I ran out there and grabbed it and headed back into the van. And when I opened the side door, I noticed that the table and the floor were covered in water. And sure enough, there was water dripping down from the skylight. So this is a new occurrence, not anything we've experienced before. And I am hoping and praying that it is a simple situation where when I put the pillow in the skylight that I always put in there to help with insulation and the road noise when we're traveling, I am really, really hopeful. Time I pushed it up too far and left a gap that rain was able to get into the van. If that's not the case, well, I'm spending a lot of money on this thing, and I just really hope it doesn't turn into a monster that ends up being one thing after another. I'm going to be honest though, that is RV life. They're all the same way. Every RV I've ever had has had issues that you just kind of chase. When you build these vehicles and you put all these holes all over them for all of your different attachments and this and that, it happens. And it is the truth of RV life. Even brand new ones have their bugs. If you watched my cleanup and repairs video, you probably saw the part where I was showing the inside of my galley cabinets. They're basically duct taped together. They use staples, and you can see the screws are kind of already breaking through some of the corner boards. It's, it is what it is. So we're off to take this trip down to Chattanooga, and I'm hoping that traffic isn't too terrible. This time of day, traffic in going down to Chattanooga is terrible always. So with the thunderstorm going on right now, it could be brutal. It is 6:11 in the morning, and the goal was to have this thing down to my friends at Site 7 by 7 a.m. We made it unscathed. We'll get this thing inside and start on these upgrades that hopefully I'm not sorry I spent the money on later. All right, let's keep this light. So let's start with a bit of my personal story. I want to take you on my personal journey a little bit to let you know some of the reasons why we thought that a Class B camper van would be the right choice for us. So let me roll this back. In 2013, we made the decision to move from a small town in Ohio to Southeast Tennessee. The biggest driver was probably we were just over the winter, but there was also a very real reason around wanting to try somewhere new to raise the remainder of our children. We had 2 graduated two were going into their senior years, and we had one in elementary school and one in middle school. And we just really thought that this move would be right for the family. It was also extremely hard because when we moved to Tennessee, two of our daughters stayed back in Ohio. Our son was in the Air Force, so he was not near us. And we knew when we made that decision that we were moving away from our parents and everything that we had known. Really, we had both grown up in Ohio. I lived more central, north central Ohio, while my husband lived out in the west side of Ohio. But Ohio was, really it. We came down to Tennessee with the kids to vacation and fell in love with Tennessee, of course, around the Sevierville and Gatlinburg area. But it was a leap. My best friend had moved down to northern Georgia and just really told us how wonderful it had been for her family. And we came down and visited and took the leap. So with that being said, we now have all of our family in Ohio. And then as time goes on, of course, our children start having children and getting married and doing all the things. And so now, fast forward to 2026, and we have 12 grandchildren. 4 of them are in Ohio. 3 of them are in Oklahoma. The rest are here in Tennessee with us. At this point, our only parent is Scott's father, but he's still in Ohio. And our brother-in-law, they're still in Ohio. So we have reason to visit. We have reason to go. Not everybody's here. So we like to go see our family. Of course, when you do, you're going to bunk up with somebody or you're going to pay for a hotel room. And for a very long time, we talked about getting an RV. We considered renting one of our trips recently out to Oklahoma. Yeah, we just kind of came to the conclusion that maybe it would be the right thing for us. Some things changed in our lives and made it possible. And when they did, I jumped at the chance. And when we first got it, if you listen to my other videos, you heard me say some of the improvements that we're doing in the van right now are very much because we know now, going into our 3rd year of owning it, that it was the right decision for us. And to some degree, we needed to make sure of that before we invested the kind of money that we're putting into it now. So when we go to our family's house, it's a full-size van. It is about 21 feet long. With the box on it, it might be pushing 22 now. But when we pull into a restaurant, easy parking. We pull into our family's driveways, easy parking. When we head out to Oklahoma, we're able to park right in front of our family's house without, impeding the roadway. And we have our bedroom on wheels. So we don't have to impose on others. And we also just kind of have that privacy and freedom that comes with being able to just come out and hide in our van if we need to. Next, we talk about freedoms. One of the things that I am able to do, because I'm an IT professional who works remote, is I can travel and work. So when we want to take off, for instance, and head for Oklahoma or Ohio, if my husband's done with work and he can go and I still need to work, I can work while we drive. I can sit right here at the table and comfortably spread out. I can get extra monitors out if I need to and sit right here and be able to enjoy the ride. We chose this layout specifically because this seat sits forward and has the table, so that it's probably more for others than for me. I don't have a tendency to get too car sick, but some others need to be able to sit forward, look outside, be able to see where you're going, and that's fine. And this layout was perfect for us. So we've got the bench that sits right here behind the driver's seat. with the table and all of my power system for, I have all of the Apple Power things over here, you know, watch and computers and everything just stays right here. So we can sit down, plug in, ready to go, work as long as we need to. The Starlink sits in the skylight, which is right above me, and that has been worth every penny. That allows us to get up and go. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of insight as to our kind of needs around our family and why this van works for us. But the next portion I want to talk to you about is a lot more personal. So in 2018, after 2 failed surgeries to correct a fistula, I was looking at having to have an ostomy so that they could try one additional repair. It was a scary situation for me, but it was supposed to be temporary, so here we go. Unfortunately, that repair failed once again, and technically probably made things a bit worse. What I found with having an ileostomy, though, is that some digestive issues that I had had for years were actually easier to handle having an ileostomy. I had that ileostomy from 2018 to 2024. Unfortunately, shortly after I got the ostomy, I also developed a fairly large hernia. That really made me uncomfortable in my clothes and just made life difficult. So in 2024, I made the decision to move from an ileostomy to a colostomy and have my hernia repaired, which was an extremely hard surgery. I actually spent nearly 2 weeks in the hospital, but ultimately it was the best decision I've made. Now, you might wonder, Tracy, why are you telling me this story? We're talking about adventures around Tennessee and around the United States in a van and boats and getting out in nature. Why in the world are you telling me this story? Well, I just want to tell the story to give a little bit of focus on the freedoms that the van has provided me. Going tailgating is one of my favorite things to do in the fall. We love college football, and we don't even go in the games. We just go and tailgate and hang out with people and visit the vendors. If it's a big football game and they have a lot of vendors set up, we go around and look. I just love the entire environment. Okay. But when you're in those type of situations and you have an ostomy, especially if it's shortly after surgery, you might still be settling into how things are going to work for you. It could really limit what you feel comfortable, where you feel comfortable going, what you feel comfortable doing. And having this van has allowed me to not ever stop from going on an adventure. I have a bathroom, I have extra clothes, I have all of my medical supplies, and I don't have to limit myself from anything that I want to do. And that has been huge. With that being said, I think it's time for me to share with you some of the adventures I've had recently. I join you from the Ocoee River Dam 2. As you can hear, we have a very playful puppy out on the river playing with his toy. And I'll show you a little shot of this. This is one of those freedom moments where, because of the work that I do, I can choose to work from anywhere. And so today, my view has been the Ocoee River, and it is so pleasant out here. And I got to see a flock of butterflies just hanging out on the river, which was extremely peaceful to see. And yeah, this is what my mobile office looks like, right? So I can sit here and work. Got a fan going to keep it nice and cool. I could flip the seat around if I wanted to. For today, I just used the bench. It worked out for me. I'll flip the screen on us again, give you a couple of pictures of the dam. Dam's right over there. Super peaceful area here early in the spring. Obviously, the water's not up, the whitewater's not rushing, so it's pretty quiet out here. There's been a decent amount of traffic. Some kayakers came in for a little while. I got to watch them practicing. It looked like there was maybe a little bit of training going on, so that was a lot of fun to be able to watch that. But for the most part now, we're reaching about 5 p.m. and it's completely quiet. It's just myself and this gal with her puppy dog out here getting some exercise. So yeah, the freedoms that come along with this monster is just unbelievable. My mobile office. Next, a quick flight over to Rome, Georgia, a place where three rivers meet, history lives around every corner, and a small town charm somehow feels larger than life. From brick-lined streets and historic landmarks to riverside views and local favorites, Rome has a way of slowing you down just enough to enjoy the journey. Rome isn't just rivers and historic streets, it's also baseball country, home of the Rome Emperors. This town brings that classic minor league experience where future stars, hometown pride, and summer evenings all come together. The Emperors are a stop along the journey for future Atlanta Braves players. For us, Rome is also the home of our youngest daughter and her fiancé who plays college baseball. This trip was so we could spend some time with them and be able to watch him play. Since it's where our daughter is, it's one of our favorite places to visit. This visit marks my third overnight in Rome in my van. The first time I stayed at a Harvest Host location, located just north of Berry College. Sam's Burger Deli is your local stop for bold comfort classics served hot, fast, and full of personality, according to their website. I will say, the smash burger was amazing. This visit, you see us here, just in the back parking lot of the Emperor's Stadium. We're staying in the Eco Roost by the River Campground. Campground is a bit of a stretch. It is 8 parking spots for campers, providing water and 30 and 50 amp service. No other amenities to be found, but it does sit in a beautiful area right along the Ostanala River. Yeah, we're back here in WhitsGetaway, and I am actually sitting in the parking lot of the Georgia Winery. I just picked up the van from Site 7, got all those wish list items done. I've got a new faucet, I've got new solar panels, I've got a wolf box so I have a rear view mirror again, and I'm back in here and experiencing some of that freedom that we talked about, allowing me to sit here with my laptop, do my job, hang out. Once I get a break from meetings, I'll run inside, get my wine, maybe do some tasting and get a little lunch, and eventually get on the road back home. But for now, I've got everything I need right here to be able to hang out, work, get things done. On their website at georgiawines.com, the story of Georgia Winery comes to life. It reads, "Once upon a time, there was a heart doctor with the soul of a farmer. In the spring of 1982, longing to fulfill his dream of working the land, our founder, Dr. Maurice Rawlings Sr., purchased 52 peaceful rolling acres in the foothills of Lookout Mountain in northwest corner of Georgia. More than 40 years later, Georgia Winery remains proudly family-owned and operated, now in its third generation. The wines we craft today are not only American-made, but distinctly Southern in character. From Dr. Rawlings' original recipe to our modern fermentation methods, each bottle is carefully made to capture the full, fresh essence of the fruit." So what adventures are you missing out on? Anything that a Class B camper van could help you get out and enjoy life?
All right, it's probably time that we wrap up this adventure. I thank you very much for joining along. If you had fun, please make sure that you like this video. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Think there's somewhere I should visit? Tell me. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.